guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome, and if you've been here before, welcome back. My name is Luz. I'm a mommy of 3 who loves to share her makeup and beauty advice with you guys, and today's video is all about blushes and highlight. If you've been following a quick guide to series, you know that today we are finishing off the whole face with the blush and the highlight. If you have not been following my series, I'll link it up here. I've covered every single step in the face makeup routine, including the foundation, the concealer, the contour and bronzer, and now we're moving on to highlight and blush. In these videos, I go into detail in regards to technique, application, and the different types of items that are available within that range. So today we're covering blushes and highlights. I'm going to tell you all the ins and outs about highlighting your face and putting on the blush. First, let's talk about the different types of blushes out there. You can find cream blushes, you can find powder blushes, you can find loose powder blushes, and you can even find liquid blushes out there. So depending on the type of blush that you use is the type of tool that you want to use to deposit that blush onto your skin. Typically for a powder blush, you want to go for a blush brush that is kind of in a paddle shape but fluffy at the same time. This one is from Crown Brushes. We recently got it in our boxy charm, and it works great. You don't want something that's too big, and because you want it to be in a very specific area. The bigger the brush, the more area it's going to cover. So blush, you want to just have it in a specific area and pounce it on with a blush brush. Again, something that is kind of dense but fluffy and in a paddle shape at the same time. This is a great one, and this one right here is another great one. Again, this has that paddle shape, kind of pinched in at the ferrule, but it's kind of fanned out at the same time, and it's not too big. It's the perfect size to deposit that blush right up on that cheek, girl. If you're using a blush that is either a cream or a liquid, you might want to use your fingers or a sponge. That will give you the right tool to blend out that liquid or cream and pounce it onto your face and try to blend it out evenly throughout the face and pressing it in as well as so that you don't lose too much pigment. I'm not a huge fan of creams and liquid blushes, but if you are going to use them, I recommend using them on your light makeup days, on those days that you don't have a full face, especially if you already powdered your face. You typically don't want to go in with a liquid or a cream out over it because it might disturb the makeup. Everything you worked hard for might just go out the window, but I have seen that there is some people that still use it and it works for them. So if it works for you, you go ahead and do you. Now let's talk about highlighting. Oh my goodness. Highlighting has taken over the whole makeup industry, the whole cosmetics industry, just over the whole world. Everybody's highlighting, everybody wants to glow, everybody wants to be seen from outer space, and I don't blame you because it just looks so pretty. But let's talk about the different types of highlights. Again, you can find a powder highlight, loose powder highlight, you can find cream highlights as well as liquid highlights. I love them all. So let's say you want to have that glow from within look that we all basically want and strive for, and unless you're into the matte face, which again, it's your thing, you do you. If you want that glow from within, you might want to apply some highlight underneath your foundation so that it looks nice and glowy once you put on your foundation and you finished up. You can also apply it over your foundation. You can apply it anywhere you want. But if you're using a liquid foundation, you might want to use, again, your fingers or your sponge. Brushes will typically make it look streaky and it does not press into the skin like we want it to, making it look very superficial and not realistic. Again, nobody knows we have makeup on. Right? You want to press it in, making sure that it's nice and seamless. You typically can't do that with a liquid highlight and a brush. However, if you are going to use a powder highlight and you're going to use a loose powder highlight, definitely go for the brush. Here are two of my favorite brushes for highlight. This one is from Morphe, that very tapered hairs. You see how they come to a point and it just fits perfectly right where you want to apply it. If you want to blend it out, it's also nice and fluffy that you can blend it out. Another favorite of mine is this one from Anastasia. This is the A23 and it has the pinch ferrule and it fans out, but it's still fluffy at the same time. I prefer this one when I want a more of an all over glow, as it covers a larger area, but it just blends it out so nicely and right into the skin. If you want to hit that top of the brow, this is perfect. Again, if you want more of an all over glow, this is the blush to go. If you want a very precise application, you want to go for a very pointy, small, fluffy brush. Girl, if you don't want to invest in a brush that is specifically for highlight, you can always use a fluffy eye brush. Go for your large fluffy crease brushes. That will give you the perfect application. You just have to work a little bit more in blending it and making sure that it's diffused. But if you do not want to invest in a highlight brush, you can always use a fluffy crease brush. Thank me later. Alright, now for the fun part. Let's put some makeup on my face. That's what you're here for, right? For me specifically, I like to apply my highlight before my blush. I go with the bronzer or contour and bronzer, or just bronzer sometimes. Then I go with the highlight, and then I go with the blush. I find that the highlight, if I apply it after the blush, it's a little bit harder to blend, and it just does not look seamless. It does not look cohesive. It looks like a choppy line right where you put the highlight. That's personally the issue that I've had. Sometimes after I applied my highlight and my blush, I will go back in and pinpoint the area where I want it to really beam and apply a little bit of highlight at that time. But for the most part, I go in with my highlight before my blush. For today, I'm going to use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Glow Kit palette called That Glow. I've had this for a while and I really like it. I'm going to go in with Dripping in Gold and Bubbly. I'm going to mix Dripping in Gold and Golden Bronze. Here it is. I have it right on that brush. I'm going to highlight my face using the old school method, which was just highlighting. There's a difference between highlighting and strobing. And I know people say it's the same thing, and all in all, it is the same thing. You're using highlight to highlight your face. But back in the days when highlight wasn't all that popular, we would just highlight the tops of our cheeks. That's all we used to do. Now the difference now is that we like to highlight everything, every single part of her face. So that's now the strobing technique that they introduced, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago. They made it all popular, strobing. But if you want to go into specific, it's just about where you're highlighting your face. Strobing requires for you to highlight the top of your cheekbone, the forehead, the chin, the bridge of your nose, and your cupid's bow. You can even go deeper into the highlight, and you can definitely highlight your inner corner and the top of the brow bone. For today, I don't want to go into that. I want to keep my eye pretty much on the matte side. By the way, you like my short hair? I cut my hair on Sunday and I'm still getting used to having short hair again. I used to have short hair about 2 or 3 years ago and I've let it grow out, and now I'm back to the short hair. Do you like it? I kind of do, but I still need to get used to it. I like it. I just need to get used to it. Okay, so what is this, you say? This is highlight. Okay, so I have highlighted my face, and now I'm gonna go in with my blush. Because I have a lot of makeup on, I do want to differentiate the work that I've done. So my blush application, when I have full face of makeup, is gonna be very specific. I am going to concentrate the blush away from the center of the face. I'm not trying to flick you off, but you want to at least 1 to 2 fingers, depending on how your face is structured, away from the nose. You work so hard in concealing and highlighting the inner part of your face that you don't want to cover it up with blush and making it look red and splotchy in the areas that you want it to be nice and bright. So you want to focus the blush when you have a full face. You want to focus the blush between the highlights and the bronzer or contour. That's why I like to do my highlight before doing my blush. It gives me a guide to where I'm going to put this stuff on. So you want to keep it away from the center of the face, because what this is going to do is going to bring back in that redness that you might have already covered. It's going to make your face look muddy. You want to put it between the highlights and the blush and smile. And this is the apple of the cheek. You see that? You see that little right there? So I'm going to put some right at the end of the apple of the cheek, the highest point, a little bit past the highest point. And I'm going to bring that up and back. Between the bronzer and the highlight. And now I have a little bit of color. Compared to this side, it looks, I do still have the I still have the bronzer and I have the blush, but it doesn't have that rosy color that this side does. And that brings it the whole look together. So again, smile. And that's the apple of the cheek. I'm going to go a little bit past the apple of the cheek. I'm going to put the most pigment there and I'm going to bring it back. And I'm all set with the blush. So see how it just merges together and it blends in with the blush and the highlight and the contour from darkest to lightest. If you want to go in with just a little bit more highlight, just apply it to the very tippity top to make it pop. And if you want to make it even more glowy and make it stand out even more, you can wet your brush. That is it, guys. I hope you liked today's video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and click this little face right here. That's me. If you click on it, you will be subscribed to this channel. And if you haven't seen any of my other videos, including the other part of this series, I will put them here. And another video you can check out is this one right here. So go ahead, click yourself out of this by watching another one of my videos. Thank you guys for watching. Love you guys. Have a good day.